Hello everyone, if you are new, my name is Marin. Welcome to another reading vlog. This is my second vlog of spooky season. If you would like to see what I read last week, I will link that vlog up above. But in short, I read 3 books. I finished an audiobook, an ebook, and a print book, physical book, and vlogged about it. So you can check that out if you are curious, but one of the books I did read was The Haunting of Hill House. So finally crossed that classic off my list. And now we're going to talk about what I am going to be reading in this week's vlog. So I do have this book right here. It's These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. This reminds me a lot of The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes because it says basically it's about a girl named Helen. Her and her mother left their ancestral home. When the grandfather passes away, he's left the house to her, but she has to live there for 1 full year or she won't get her inheritance, which is exactly the premise of the Inheritance Games, except Avery was not part of the family. She was just a random person. But this one also has ghosts, I believe. I believe the house is haunted. So we will see what I think about it. It's not terribly long. It has 355 pages, not counting the author's note, which I think I'll also obviously read. But yeah, so this will be the main book that I'm going to be reading in this vlog. I cannot talk. I am also currently working on the 10th Nancy Drew book on my Kindle, which is The Password to Larkspur Lane. And I'm listening to the audio of A Cold Legacy, which is the 3rd and final book in the Madman's Daughter trilogy by Megan Shepherd. So those are my 3 books for this week. I am about 40% of the way through my audiobook of The Cold Legacy, or A Cold Legacy, sorry. And I'm like a quarter of the way through the Nancy Drew book. So that's where we are. It is Saturday, October 15th, and I do have some things that I need to work on for school, so I'm going to print a few things off. I am also currently working on redoing my TBR jar, so I'm going to work a little bit on that, and while I do those 2 things, I'm going to listen to more of A Cold Legacy. So that's what we're going to do first. I am also going to chunk this book, I think, into quarters, so we'll break it down into 4 days worth of reading because I think that will be manageable. So I will take care of that and then we'll just see what else I get up to. This is a very chill Saturday. It is already 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm just kind of hanging out at home today, relaxing. It was a bit of a crazy week at school, so I need to regroup a bit. But yes, that's the plan. Enough talking. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Chapter 16. Montgomery drew the carriage up sharply, and the 3 of us jumped out. We tore over twisting roots to reach Valentina's coach. It was on its side, nearly unrecognizable in its destruction.
Hi y'all, happy Sunday. As you can see, I am home from all of my shopping. It's going on 4 o'clock. I got home quite a while ago. But I wanted to go ahead and pop on and just chat about These Fleeting Shadows, which y'all, I did not actually read last night. I literally filmed that clip that you saw where I like opened the book up. I read the little like prologue piece, and that's all I read, because then I decided to watch The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix instead, and I watched the first 5 episodes last night. So I did no reading. I've also already watched 2 more episodes today, and honestly, I just want to go through and like finish it today. So that being said, I was going to try to read what I meant to read last night, which would be like this much, and what I was planning to read today, which would be up to page 179. So this entire chunk, it's not going to happen. I want to finish watching The Haunting of Hill House, so instead I'm just going to read this first chunk, which will be to page 90, chapter 10. So this much will be my goal. Now I will say I did read the first chapter earlier. It's got a nice like atmosphere already, and a little dark, a little weird. Our main character, Helen, has just returned to the ancestral home that her mother like grew up in for her grandfather's funeral, because her grandfather has passed away, and that's where we are. So I will be curious to see what is going to happen in the next few chapters. But yes, I am going to read 89 pages today, and then I will come back on and chat with you about my initial thoughts. Now, my library has marked this as high school, which typically means like it's got a little bit more adult content than like your younger YA, but we'll see. I'm thinking maybe because of like the haunted whole thing. I don't know, but we will find out. So I will chat with you more about my thoughts on the first part of this. As for The Haunting of Hill House, the show, it's not at all similar to the book. Like, they definitely took a lot of liberties, but I am still really, really enjoying it. I feel like it's sticking close enough to like the plot of the book, but they've taken like a different route. So yeah, I'm curious to see where that's going to go. I am getting ready to start episode 8, I think. So I have 8, 9, and 10. 3 episodes left. I'll do a little mini review once that's done as well. In other news, yesterday, as you saw, I was printing and taking care of some school stuff. Got this whole stack of stuff here, so I figured I'd go ahead and just show you what I got up to. So I printed off some math activities. We have like some Spin It, where they're matching like the dots to the numbers. It's subitizing, that's what it's called. And then I also have a couple of like roll and cover pages, because I already printed the cards off for those. So they look like this, where they pull a card and they have to match the number. So I have 0 through 10 for both of those, because that's where we are right now. I also printed off some sound by sound CVC writing things from Tara West. So they look like this. This will be a word work activity, I'm thinking, for like one of my higher groups. And then I did a letter matching activity. So these are just the cards, and they pull the card and they have to write the letter that matches the picture. So this is for like a lower group, because the letter is on there and they're just matching the picture on the paper. Whereas for the higher group, it just gives them the picture. I did not print that one yet. I want to see how this one goes first. And then the last thing I printed were the CVC poppet things. So they use the poppets and they do, I'll just show you for those who aren't familiar. So we have a cab here, so they would go ab, they'd pop it on the actual poppet, and then they write it on a paper, ab, C-A-B, etc. So printed off a whole set of those. So that's what I was printing. That's this giant stack of stuff. I also finished putting together my TBR jar, at least to this point, because if I add any other books to my TBR, I will of course add them to the TBR jar for next year. But the TBR jar is going to play a bigger role in my wheel of TBR next year. I'm very excited about it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Obviously, I will not be talking about that until I put the new TBR video out, like the 1st of January or something like that. But anyway, you know, I'm always brainstorming and thinking about things. I'm a planner, so I've been working on that. But that's where we are. That's literally everything I've done. You saw I went to Ulta. I had to pick up some cleansing balm. I picked up a body scrub. I picked up more sunscreen. And then I got another set of like the Kitsch, I don't know how to pronounce it. Kitsch, like the coil hair ties, the plastic coil hair ties, because I've lost a bunch of mine and I don't know where they went. So I have like the one that I have in today, which is a black one. And that's the last one that I have. I don't know where any of the others went. So I just picked up another pack. So that was Ulta. Then I went to the grocery store and now we're home. So enough rambling. Let's go finish watching The Haunting of Hill House. Oh, I did edit a YouTube video. It's exporting right now. So got that knocked out. I'm going to go ahead and upload that for Tuesday. But yes, enough chattering. I want to go finish The Haunting of Hill House. It has been forever since I've been binge watched anything, so this is kind of exciting that this has like drawn me in like that. But yes, that's where we are. I will talk more later. Hello y'all, it is 8:37 and I did finish reading like the first quarter of These Fleeting Shadows, so I do have some initial thoughts. So far in the book, we've been introduced to Helen, who is our main character. Helen has some kind of like paranormal / supernatural-ish ability that's not been fully explained as of yet. She doesn't really understand what it is or where it comes from, so I feel like we're going to probably find out along with her throughout the course of the book. But basically, she has agreed to the terms of her grandfather's will. She is staying at Harrowstone Hall, which they call Harrow, and we've been introduced to her various family members, as well as the daughter of the groundskeeper, Bryony, who they call the Harrow Witch. And she is attempting to figure out what the deal is, because she's learned some bits and pieces, I guess, of like family history, and now she's trying to make sense of it. So right off the bat, this book reminds me of Hide by Kirsten White, and I did a whole vlog on that book. I'll link it up above. I didn't love that book, so I'm hoping that this one won't be exactly the same as that. But basically, there keeps being a mention of a labyrinth and the fact that the house is like built like a labyrinth. And we've had mention of the other, which is being like trapped in the house somehow. Again, we don't know what it is. That's not a spoiler. Like, that's literally like the first chunk of this. So, you know. But yeah, that's where we are. So it's got some vibes that are reminding me of Hide, but I am really liking the atmosphere of this one. It's very creepy and unsettling, I guess would be a good word for it. So I am enjoying it. I think this is going to feature a lesbian romance between Helen and Bryony, possibly. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I'm curious. That's my thought on this. So good start so far. I am done reading for tonight. When I get home tomorrow, I will go ahead and try to crank out the next, how many chapters? 7 chapters. So it will be this piece right here. It reads pretty quickly, so I feel like that should be doable before I inevitably fall asleep because I will be too tired. But yeah, so that's that. Now, let me sum up The Haunting of Hill House, which I did finish reading. Not reading, sorry. Camera adjustment. which I'd finished watching tonight on Netflix. So I finished watching episodes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so the last 5 episodes today, and I really enjoyed the show. It's not entirely faithful to the book, but you can definitely get, you know, the places where they got their inspiration from. And the last episode in particular made me cry. I was not expecting like a horror series to make me cry, so go figure. But yeah, I really enjoyed it and I would recommend it. Even if you haven't read the book, you would like this, because again, it's not like a super faithful retelling of the book. It's just based on the book. But yeah, very much enjoyed it and would recommend. So that was several hours well spent in my opinion. It was the first time I'd binged anything in probably literal years, so yay for that. But other than that, that's literally all I've gotten up to today. I did this. I watched those 5 episodes. I edited a YouTube video, and that's about it. So now I'm gonna head back out to the living room and watch a new episode of, what is it called? Like Vengeful Coworkers or something. I can't remember the name. I'll put it right here on the screen. But it's on Headline News. They do all of like the crime dramas and stuff. I'm a big fan. So I'm gonna head back out and watch that. And we're gonna sign off for today. Tomorrow starts another week of school, but it's just a 3-day week with students. So hopefully it will not be too terribly exhausting. But on that note, I'm done for today. I will chat with you again tomorrow, probably. Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. We're gonna do a very quick reading update and then sign off this vlog because it goes up tomorrow. So I have not yet finished These Fleeting Shadows. I did not do any reading on this once I started back to work. So I read Saturday and Sunday, and I did not read any more than that. So I didn't read any further than the halfway point. That's right where I was the last time I talked to you, I think. So I was just too tired. I straight up fell asleep last night right after dinner. It's exhausting. So yeah, not gonna get this done. So I believe I'm gonna do one more vlog before the end of the month, possibly. I can't quite remember like what my filming schedule is. So I will chat about this one in that vlog once I finish it. I also am 88% of the way through A Cold Legacy. I am very curious to see how this one's going to end. Right now I had to like stop listening on a bit of a cliffhanger, so we'll see what happens with that one. But I am enjoying this, or I'm enjoying it. Can you tell it's late? Yeah. I'm enjoying it. This is a series that is like a YA horror series, so I would really recommend it. I really like how she took the classic tales and like twisted them a bit, and yeah, I've enjoyed it. So we will see how that one ends. I am most likely going to finish listening to that one tomorrow morning while I'm getting ready for work, but again, I will chat about that either in the last vlog that I do or in my recap. So that's that. I did finish reading the 10th Nancy Drew book. I'm giving it 3 stars. That's fairly standard. It was a little over the top when it first started, talking about like a homing pigeon, like rescue society and like some crazy stuff. But I did like how the 2 mysteries that Nancy was working on kind of came together, which is what happens in all of these books. There's always like 2 mysteries that you think are not related, and they always turn out to be related. So I did enjoy that, gave it 3 stars. That one's done. And yesterday evening before I fell asleep, I started reading Resurrection by Amy Carol Reeves, which is the 3rd and final book in her Ripper series, I think is what it's called. But y'all, I'm so lost. I've read 8 chapters and I was really hoping there would be like some kind of decent recap which would like spark my memory, but it's been so long since I read the second book. I cannot remember who half these characters are or what on earth happened. So I think I'm going to, well no, I know I'm going to DNF it. This is not a statement on the book itself. It's a statement on me and my inability to remember what happened in the first 2 books, because I think I read them probably 7 or 8 years ago, maybe even more than that. So I'm gonna DNF that one and just set that one aside. So that's kind of a bummer because I was hoping I would be able to finish that series and like give a review, but I just don't remember anything really that happened in that story. And there's no way I'm gonna go back and like reread the first 2. I cannot find like a full recap of them either. So I'm just gonna DNF and we will move on to something else. In the last bit of book news that I have, I did pick up The Turn of the Screw by Henry James from my library. I am thinking this will be like my Halloween read, another classic that I've heard, you know, it's kind of spooky and things like that. So curious to give this one a read. So I'm going to save this for Halloween. It will be my Halloween read. So that is that. That is my little reading recap. That's been for like 5 minutes, so not so little. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this vlog nonetheless, even though I did not finish like the main attraction of it. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.